TomoNews presents Prison Break.
Brazil drug trafficker attempts prison escape dressed as grandma. Wearing a professional film-quality mask and a grandma costume, inmate Clodoaldo Antonio Felipe tried to break out of prison in Brazil just in time for Halloween. Using a mask, wig, dress, and a lovely pair of red shoes, Felipe cooked up an amusing scheme to sneak out of the prison undetected. Although he probably looked very convincing in the getup, he tried just walking on out of the front door of the prison in plain view of the guards. Unfortunately for him, he was a little too tall and they didn't remember letting an old lady in to visit that day, so he was busted. An investigation is underway to determine how Felipe managed to get the mask behind bars. This type of mask reportedly sells for over $1,000. Felipe will have plenty of time to play dress-up since he was already sentenced to 36 years back in 2009 when he was convicted of drug trafficking as part of the largest drug distribution network in Brazil. Maybe he got the idea from Mr. Toad's Jailbreak after reading The Wind in the Willows. Or maybe he saw Ernest Goes to Jail one too many times.
Dramatic video shows Quebec prison break 2013. This video was filmed by prison guards in 2013 when two inmates, Benjamin Houdon Barbeau and Danny Provencal, escaped from St. Jerome Detention Center near Montreal. Houdon Barbeau and Provencal coordinated their escape with two accomplices via text messages on smuggled cell phones in the prison. The accomplices hijacked a helicopter and forced its pilot to land on the roof of the prison at gunpoint. In the video, the two inmates seem to be having troubles climbing onto the roof. The chopper then lifts off with the two escapees dangling from the rope, and eventually carries them outside the prison. The four suspects then forced the pilot to land in a parking lot some 40 kilometers from the prison before boarding a getaway car. Hours later, the four were arrested and the pilot was found unharmed.
Inmates use pillow bodies to escape UK prison. In a scene straight out of a movie, two men broke out of a North London prison after fooling prison guards with a decoy. On the night of the escape, the resourceful pair had arranged pillows around their beds to make them look like bodies. They then used diamond-tipped cutting equipment to saw through their cell bars. After climbing out the window, the two reportedly used bed sheets to lower themselves down, eventually scaling the perimeter wall to freedom. It took a while, but guards eventually discovered the pair missing around noon the next day. Police are on a manhunt for the fugitives, who have both been described as dangerous. Murder suspect breaks handcuffs and makes amazing escape. North Las Vegas police released footage on Wednesday of a Nevada murder suspect breaking a pair of handcuffs before using a chair to climb through the roof and escape a police interview room. Suspect Alonso Perez is seen in the video handcuffed to the table on September 2nd. The clip starts off with Perez looking around the room, his eyes repeatedly going up towards the ceiling. Perez then stands up and starts twisting and applying pressure to the handcuffs, which are attached to a metal bar on a table that is bolted to the floor. According to Police Chief Alexander Perez, the suspect was able to apply enough torque with the help of his body weight to finally snap the hinges on the handcuffs. After getting loose, the suspect is then seen calmly returning to his seat as if nothing happened, with his hand over the metal bar when a police detective checks on him. When the detective leaves, Alonso gets back to planning his great escape. He uses a chair to remove a ceiling tile, and then eventually climbs into the ceiling and out of the interrogation room. According to the police chief, it was another 25 minutes before the cops realized Perez was gone. Perez then dropped down into the hallway and left the building, before going on to jack a work truck that was left running in a nearby parking lot. Perez was rearrested 3 days after his escape without incident.
32 teens bust out of juvenile detention center. Tennessee authorities are still looking for 17 of the 32 teens that escaped from a juvenile detention center. 32 teens from a Nashville youth detention center escaped after getting out of their dorms on Monday night. During a shift change, the teens were able to get into the yard and pull up a fence. The teens, aged 14 to 17, then crawled underneath the fence and scattered. Several of the escaped teens were reported to be seen hiding in drainage pipes and in bushes. As of 6 a.m. Tuesday morning, 17 of the 32 juveniles were still being sought. The teens were last seen wearing gray or white t-shirts, dark blue pants, and white or black sneakers. 3 inmates escaped Quebec prison in helicopter. Canadian authorities are searching for 3 inmates who escaped from a Quebec City prison using a helicopter. 3 prisoners escaped the Orsonville Detention Center just north of Quebec City on Saturday night. According to police, the prison break occurred at 7:40 p.m. when a green helicopter with red and white markings landed at the prison. Authorities are unclear if the helicopter landed in a prison yard, on a building, or nearby. The helicopter was last seen heading west from the detention center. Airports were alerted to watch for the aircraft, and the military has been helping in the air search.
Second prisoner escapes from Australia's most secure jail in less than a month. A prisoner escaped today from the minimum security facility at the Goulburn Correctional Centre, considered Australia's most secure jail, the second breakout from the prison in less than a month. The first prison break from the Goulburn Correctional Centre happened in August, when maximum security prisoner Stephen Jameson escaped using bed sheets and a blanket. Jameson tied a pillow around his waist, most likely to climb over razor wire at the top of the prison wall. He then stole a pickup but was caught almost 12 hours later after leading police on a 40-kilometer high-speed chase. Jameson had been in segregation after being identified as a suspect over the discovery of a 60-centimeter deep hole in the prison's floor, which was found earlier in August. On Wednesday morning, another prisoner, Beau Wiles, escaped from the Goulburn Correctional Centre around 10 a.m. after he jumped one of the prison's fences. Wiles was serving an 18-month sentence for shoplifting, assault, robbery, car theft, and driving while disqualified.
Manhunt underway after 3 inmates break out of Orange County Jail. A trio of dangerous inmates, including an accused murderer, broke out of a maximum security jail in California on January the 22nd. Officials believe that 3 inmates living in a housing tank shared with 65 others at the Central Jail Complex in Orange County escaped by cutting through steel bars and then making their way into a plumbing tunnel. Officials suspect this tunnel then led them to an unsecured part of the facility's roof. It's believed the trio ran off after using a rope made of bed sheets or clothing to rappel 4 stories to the ground. Authorities suspect other inmates may have staged a disturbance in order to delay the scheduled nightly headcount. It wasn't until 9 p.m. that the jail realized the men were missing. The escaped inmates are identified as 37-year-old Hossein Nayeri, 20-year-old Jonathan Tew, and 43-year-old Bak Duong. Nayeri is accused of kidnapping and torture, while Tew was charged with murder and Duong with attempted murder.
Trio who escaped California jail may have been helped by an English teacher. Police have arrested a 44-year-old instructor after suspecting that she did more than just teach English inside the Orange County Jail. Nusha Farin Ravagi had been working as an English as a second language teacher at the men's central jail for more than 6 months. Hossein Nayeri, one of the escaped inmates, had been her student. The two were friendly and had a relationship that may or may not have been romantic, but close enough that she admitted to giving him access to Google Maps. Police think she may have provided him with actual tools, but Ravagi has denied this. A week ago, Nayeri and 2 fellow inmates, Bak Duong and Jonathan Tew, used tools to cut through a ventilation shaft, crawled through plumbing ducts, and made their way 1 level up to the roof, where they rappelled 4 stories down prison walls using rope made out of knotted bed sheets. The trio, who were all accused of violent crimes, later stole a white GMC utility van by answering a sales ad and pretending to take the vehicle out for a test drive. Authorities believe they may be living out of the van and have not left the state.
Police are searching for 4 inmates who escaped from Caddo County Detention Center early on Sunday morning. The inmates reportedly kept their clothes on and escaped through a maintenance hatch in the shower. After reaching a wall at the end of the ceiling crawl space, they kicked out cement blocks to enter a room on the other side. Then they simply opened a door and walked out. The sheriff received a phone call at around 2:30 in the morning, alerting him to the fact that men wearing orange jumpsuits were seen outside the prison. A head count revealed that a few prisoners were indeed missing. These prisoners have been identified as Dylan Ray 3 Irons, Prime Towan Brown, Anthony James Mendonca, and Tristan Cheadle. All 4 were sentenced for unrelated crimes ranging from carrying a concealed weapon to robbery and second-degree burglary. Well, now they can add escaping prison to their rap sheets.